Hello everyone, and welcome to your second royal reading of today, a Sunday here at MadWorldTarot, and it is of course Father's Day today, and we are looking at some of the royal fathers. We looked at Harry, and now we're going to look at the King and his relationship currently with Harry using the Radiant Wise Spirit Tarot. It's standard Rider-Waite Tarot, and we're just going to do a relationship spread for the two of them, the King and Harry, past energy, present energy, future energy. We're doing it because we've seen the lovely photo of William and his children, and we've seen William interacting with the King, and their relationship, we're hearing, is really very good nowadays, that they've been brought closer together by all the things that have been going on with Harry and Meghan. And so we don't need to look at that, but we do need to look at the situation between the King and Harry. According to Tom Quinn, that oracle, it's a Father's Day nightmare for Harry. He knows the world will be watching to see if he's big enough to reach out to his father. It's still, the day is still young over in California, so perhaps he will. But the article goes on to say that Harry's struggling to schedule a call with the King because Camilla is blocking it. Wicked Camilla, we know how wicked she is. He told us that in Spare. We might think differently, but that's Harry's opinion, and we're getting it again from the oracle, Tom Quinn. And it's also, we're reminded that Harry is still upset that his father always supports William when there is a dispute between them. So there's that old grievance. Dad always chooses William, gives him the biggest sausage in the better bedroom, and supports him instead of has been when there is conflict between the two brothers. Are they 3 years old? I would like to know. And then of course we hear from other sources, not the oracle, that Harry is very jealous of Beckham at the moment. David Beckham, who has now seen besties with the King, almost a bit of a surrogate son there, orchestrated by Prince William apparently. David Beckham now very involved in the King's trust, and Harry feeling like he's been iced out. Of course, the King had to deal with David Foster being Harry's surrogate father, substitute father, whatever. That Harry was quite keen. He always seemed to have a new father lined up to replace the King. But now that the shoe is on the other foot, Harry is finding it rather painful and interesting. So it was an interesting little, rather spiteful tidbit from the oracle. But anyway, we're going to do a relationship spread. King and his son, and what is going on, and a card has now decided to spin itself over. Where is it? I don't suppose it matters. Does it? Maybe I imagined that. Let's shuffle one more time. And remind you, as I do, it's tarot for fun and entertainment, or my opinion, or speculation. Yes, there is a card there, and never mind. And of course, I just read energy, archetypal energy, and there is, and there it is, a disclaimer in the box below. That's the King, past energy. That card really wanted to be noticed. Interesting, and it really wanted to be where it is. I'm dealing with present energy now. As I set the cards out, I will explain what is going on in this reading, and that's the future, the King and Prince Harry, and our underlying energy is hope and healing. So at least from one of them, and look who's also there. We'll put him out, the Hermit, Harry. Harry hasn't lost, hasn't given up. The King has, but Harry hasn't. Perhaps he is being deluded and over-optimistic, but the star is all about healing, all about hope and faith and guidance and the soul and all of those lovely things. It's coming from Harry, the Hermit, the Virgo. That's Harry. So past energy, we know that the King has got the Ten of Wands in reverse. And what does Harry have? Harry has got the Chariot. That's very interesting energy because it's 2. So we'll deal with the King of Wands first. The King of Wands, the King of Wands, the 10 of Wands. What am I talking? What nonsense am I talking? The 10 of Wands is about burdens, and burdens growing heavier and heavier and heavier as you plow on and no one's around to help you and you don't know if you can anymore. And I got a bit of that energy watching Trooping the Colour when he was standing in the rain, taking the salute as everyone was processing past. And I thought, oh, you know, get him inside and get a hot drink in him, please. But that's the 10 of Wands in reverse, giving up. It's just too much. He's got all kinds of other trouble in his life. He is suffering from serious illness. And he's got to focus on that. He's suffered a lot. He's lost in very quick succession, lost both parents, found himself king, having to deal with that huge adjustment. The Princess of Wales also very ill, burden after burden after burden. There's a lot of turmoil going on in the country as well. And who needs darling boy, the brat of a has-been, to be throwing eggs from the sidelines at him or lobbing hand grenades, let's not say eggs, hand grenades, writing in a book how he fantasizes about killing his father, if I have my facts right. And if I'm wrong about that, I apologize and I take it back. But that's the King's energy, given up, just can't deal with it. It's too much. Put it down, don't want to know. Don't want to talk to him on the phone. It's not Camilla blocking him. It's the King who said, someone else deal with it. I don't want to know. Harry has got the Chariot. And the Chariot is movement, is travel. And what has he done? He has travelled twice to the UK, once hurling himself on a plane and flinging himself at his father's feet and begging for mercy, just about. People apparently heard him saying, fix it, you have to fix it. We're not quite sure what had to be fixed, but there's plenty wrong in his life. That's travel. He was over again for the Invictus Games service at St. Paul's very briefly. He didn't stay, even though he was offered accommodation at St. James's Palace and a meeting with the King. Put out all kinds of nasty press releases about, no, the King didn't have time to see him and blah, blah, blah. But that's travel. Very aggrieved that none of the royals showed up at St. Paul's. Only his uncle, soon to be divorced uncle, bothered to show his face to get some good press. Cough, cough, my opinion. Also, it's ambition and drive. Harry's ambition, Harry's sense of self, his ego, his desire for prominence, dominance, getting in the way of this relationship. So taking himself off to California and saying, I'm going to out-royal you boring old royals over there. I'm going to be the most popular royal everywhere and I'm going to make my billions and be Mr. Big Producer and Mr. Important Everything. It's there in the card. So I want to out William as well, because the Chariot, of course, major arcana for Cancer, William. So he wants to compete with William for his father's attention, for all kinds of things. I'm not a psychotherapist, but it's in there that he really wants to almost topple William from prime position. So let's look at now the King, Harry, the energy that lies between them. So we look at the King first, 2 cards, so we can sort of try and get a more complex energy. And we've got kind of conflicting energy here because we have the Fool, which is fresh start. Okay, I can start again. But then we have the Ace of Wands in reverse, which is life force, vitality, enthusiasm. It's a fresh start energy as well. Aces always are, but it's in reverse. So it tells me that he's setting off on this new journey in his life. He's now king, a whole new chapter in his life, but he's run out of energy. Same thing. Just about the same time that he got into his stride here with the Fool, came the health crisis and knocked him sideways. He doesn't have energy for this. And this is why this card is so important, and this is why it showed itself to us. Well, it was sneakily lying face up when I was shuffling, and it is so important. I think that we're being told really the king, much as he might want to start a fresh chapter with Harry and say, all right, bygones be bygones, let's start over. He can't, he doesn't have the energy for it, literally. He doesn't have the energy for the drama, the screeching. Harry apparently gets very volatile and screams and shouts and says terrible things and probably threatens all kinds of terrible things as well. We can speculate what those terrible things might be. The king doesn't have the energy to deal with it. And I think he's being ring-fenced at the moment, and just people are protecting him, and I just have to let the little Jack Russell out, otherwise we might have a disaster on our hands. Right, I'm babysitting a senile Jack Russell. So he's out, so no more snoring in the background. And we have done the king. Let's look now at Harry's energy. Right now, what is going on? We've got the King of Swords in reverse, and we have the 8 of Wands in reverse. He feels that his father is being very harsh. That's the King of Swords. That's the king as official king. Air sign, Gemini energy, trooping the color, king's official birthday in Gemini season. There is that. And the 8 of Wands is communication, forward movement, unblocking. It's in reverse. So can't get through. The oracle was right, that Harry is not able to schedule a call with the king. 8 of Wands, the king is being prevented from talking to him, doesn't want to talk to him, doesn't have the energy for it, the drama, the fuss, the tantrums, all the rest of it. And so Harry perceives this as very harsh, very cruel, siding with Prince William, making David Beckham chief beekeeper or whatever he's doing. And it's unfair, it's cruel, it's cold, it's vicious. So we might get volume 2 a spare as a result of events of this weekend. It might just prompt him to vent some more of that spleen. Unfortunately, what's lying between them? The energy that's between them. We've got another communication card that's in reverse, the Page of Wands in reverse, and we have the 5 of Wands also in reverse. The Page of Wands is a PR card. It's adventure, it's new beginnings. We've got more new beginnings, but it's in reverse. Going off on that adventure, sending out good messages between each other, good PR. It's a negative PR that's happening here. Bad news, negative PR. The enthusiasm for the project being at an all-time low, the project being reconciliation. And we have the fighting card, the fighting in the family card, the 5 of Wands, which is showing up a lot in readings at the moment. It's in reverse. Somebody needs to stop this squabbling. Somebody needs to be the grown-up in the situation. That's not going to be Harry. I've got another layer of energy in here because the Page of Wands can also be, it's juvenile, it's immature energy. So Harry's own immaturity and his insistence on competing, the Chariot is there in the past energy, on one-upmanship is really what's blocking this situation. Just a minor energy of children, issues around children. We've just read on Harry and his children, and that card came up again, 5 of Wands. But I'm getting it's Harry's immaturity, his brattishness, his temper, his volatility, his hostile communications. Well, I'm going to write another book. I'm going to put all those 400 pages that were cut out of volume 1 of Spare. They're much worse than what was in the original. I'm going to put those in, publish volume 2. That level of brattishness that's coming through here. And who needs that when you are really ill, I suspect, and trying to get well and trying to do your duty, and your country, as I said, is in a little bit of trouble. Just putting it there. Future, whenever. I haven't put a timeline on it. The King's energy, we have the 7 of Swords, and Harry's energy is the 9 of Wands in reverse. The Star is a little bit optimistic, Harry, for your outcome. The King is going to just keep dodging. The 7 of Swords is the ghosting card. I'm not available. I don't have a mobile phone, a cell phone. You can't reach me. I'm in Balmoral. You want to see me, you're going to have to come up to Scotland. I'm wherever. I'm in a meeting. Can't do, busy now. Whatever. That's the Seven of Swords. Avoiding. Just going to keep on avoiding. Can't deal with it. Doesn't want to deal with it. It's quite sneaky energy, the Seven of Swords. It's normally someone sneaking off stealthily under cover of night. And the king isn't sneaking off stealthily under cover of night, but he is, metaphorically speaking, he's avoiding conflict, he's avoiding drama. That's the message, the loud, loud, loud message that's coming through. Harry thinks, our hermit thinks the star. He thinks that he can fix the situation without maturing, without growing up, without apologizing, without taking back the terrible things he said, without taking back the threats that still hang over the royal family's heads, with more books, more Netflix, more nastiness, more interviews. He wants it. Two huge major arcana there, but he hasn't, and I don't think he's capable of maturing at nearly 40. I think he's stuck in a very immature energy, and that's my personal opinion. And so the king is just going to keep avoiding him, and Harry's outcome, future energy with his relationship with his father, is the Nine of Wands in reverse. It's a giving up energy very similar to the Ten of Wands in reverse. It's slightly different in the sense that it's giving up because of being battered and bruised, and finally just not able to take the punishment anymore, what he perceives as punishment, that he feels that he is being abused and battered. That's his objective perception. Apologies for the snoring that has come back into the room, puts itself back to bed, if you can hear it. And it's kind of a collapse energy that Harry is going to admit defeat at some stage. But it's interesting because this card is the card traditionally of boundaries. You can see the head injury there, the mental disorder that might be at play here in this reading, speculating of course. It's a card of boundaries, self-protection, ring-fencing oneself, being on one's guard, saying don't come close to me, I'm injured, I'm struggling, keep your distance from me. It's in reverse, so there might come a time, and I don't think this is far out in the future. This is months probably. As I say, it didn't put a time frame on it, a time limit. But for me as a reader, reading the energy here, Harry might just fall over in coming days, weeks, months. When things just get too much for him in his own personal world, and then be quite vulnerable and might have to be helped, rescued. Apparently is phoning, begging for help and rescue, but you know, blocked communication here. Nobody really interested in helping and rescuing unless he really decides to admit defeat and to surrender. And it looks like he could actually with that Nine of Wands, but it's not going to be pretty. He might go through some really tough stuff on the way to this collapse energy of dropping his guard and saying, yeah, actually I really need help, and I'm going to stop with all this aggression and this conflict and this jealousy and resentment and spite and accusations and trying to compete against my brother and against all of you. It's a journey, and it's not pretty. This is not pretty energy, and we have a king who is absolutely at his wit's end with this and really can't deal with it right now. Really can't. He's been pushed way past his limits. That is the reading. Sorry, it's a bit of a harsh reading on Father's Day, but there it is. That's the energy that wanted to come through, and I think it really was quite insistent on coming through today. That's just my opinion. There it is. Thanks for watching. I will see you again tomorrow.